Chapter 2. I've worked for the Royal Mail for just over 5 years. 6 days a week, I set the alarm for 4 a.m, and I drive to the delivery office in good time for the start of my shift at 5. My first job is always to organise the mail into postcodes according to the addresses on my round. Then I bag it up and deliver it to the residents of the Clifton housing estate, a sprawling mass of 1950s grey concrete on the outskirts of Nottingham that once had the dubious privilege of being the largest housing estate in Europe. It sounds simple, but delivering mail correctly and in a timely manner is far from easy, and it isn't a menial task either. Most people place great value on their mail service. For some of the other postal workers, it's just a job. But my view is that it doesn't take that much to make a real difference to people's lives. Mrs. Gray on Beck Crescent has ulcerated legs, so I always put her bin out first thing on a Friday morning. This summer, I cut Mr. Bagley's lawn on my day off when his arthritis was playing up. Now, when he catches me at the door, he talks non-stop about his only son, who lives in Australia. I often feel like saying, "And where's your precious son when the grass needs cutting, and you need your prescription fetching?" But of course, I never do. My colleagues at the delivery office are a good bunch, really. They seem to know just to leave me alone and let me get on with my job. People stopped trying to draw me into their non-stop conversations about reality TV and Coronation Street a long time ago, although, I admit, by some kind of weird osmosis, I'd probably be able to tell you what's happening in each and every one of those programmes they discuss. Everything had been going perfectly well at work, and then, out of the blue last week, the situation changed. The management team decided we were to have a re-evaluation of the delivery rounds. When it was my turn, Jim Crow walked over to my counter. "You're not getting finished until way past 3, Anna," he said, consulting his clipboard. "We think that's because the round might be too big for you." It was Jim who interviewed me after I'd applied for the position 5 years ago. I got myself so het up beforehand, I caught the wrong bus, and was a few minutes late arriving. I remember how Jim repeated one or two of the questions when I got confused and told me to take my time when I forgot what it was I wanted to say. He took a chance on me back then. He gave me a job. I suppose he's always sort of looked out for me a bit ever since. It's as if, on some level, he's always understood that I sometimes find things difficult. He didn't know anything about what had happened to me before, though. None of them did. "I get the round all done, don't I?" I replied. "With an hour or more overtime you do, but we can't keep paying it, Anna. Overtime's expensive, and I've got my orders to cut the rota." I watched as beads of sweat settled in the bald patches where Jim's hair was beginning to recede. I kept quiet and waited for him to meet my eyes, but he just kept flicking through the papers on his clipboard. In the end, Jim agreed I could keep my round for the time being, providing I didn't put in any overtime claims. Very gracious. "We'll see how it goes," he said. "If you're struggling to get finished, then we might have to put you on another round, possibly the Huntsmore. I'm sorry, Anna. It's beyond my control this time." I shrugged my shoulders and sauntered off, but underneath, a blistering heat seethed deep into my bones. Nobody wanted the Huntsmore round, which was precisely the reason they always covered it with agency staff. The dreaded Huntsmore, a sea of dirty concrete and boarded-up windows. It was a miracle if postal workers could get past the band-breed dogs straining at their leashes and the heckling hooded youths who gathered outside the multi-occupancy council houses from dawn until dusk, whatever the weather. It made my scalp crawl to think I could end up doing the Huntsmore round if the management made big changes. My job kept me on track, kept the days ticking on. It helped me escape the dark days, and I didn't want to go back there. I made my mind up there and then that I would hang on to my delivery round at any cost. As it turns out, I needn't have worried. As of today, I've completed my round within my allocated time for exactly 7 days, and without the need to put in any overtime. Now the management team have no excuse but to back off and leave me alone. They can go and pick on someone else because I have found a way to manage.